hello, and happy New Year, and welcome to the very first installation of Voice of Wisdom Wednesday. It's our live session of the week. Every week I give a live training on how to harness the power of your healing voice. And we have switched from Fridays to Wednesdays. Originally, I would have Wisdom Wednesdays. And if you go to the YouTube channel, there are like a lot of videos. And then once we had this group, I started doing on Fridays, and you'll see our format has switched around a bit due to the discussions in our fabulous community. And I want to welcome our new members in the community. Very excited to have you. And the subject for today's session is it possible to speak with certainty when you feel uncertain? Do you wish that you could effortlessly speak your truth, but you don't because uncertainty knocks you off your center, or anxiety knocks you off your center, and that uncertainty causes you to doubt yourself and then stop? Can you relate to that? And notice, in what areas is that most important to you to be able to speak with certainty when you're feeling uncertain? Mark in the comment section. I'm curious to know with our professional healers, because different people have different areas where that affects the most. Some in your personal life, other in your professional life, some with professional healers, with your clients, others with suppliers. I this is really, I found it a lot with my clients before the pandemic, when I got a lot of hands-on massage therapists who worked in spas or in a larger context with other modalities. They would find that a challenge. They're like with the teams or with the hotel or with the spa. So I'm curious, and others with private clients. And during the pandemic, it's been all over the place. So I'm very curious to know. So imagine for a moment the experience of speaking with certainty. Okay, whatever that situation is that you just conjured up, imagine yourself for a moment where you are speaking with certainty and with clarity, and you're centered and you're focused, and it doesn't matter what's going on around you. What feeling does that conjure up? What experience? You're feeling certain. Just note that for a moment. It is true that when you feel uncertain, it's harder to speak with certainty. And why? It's a problem, right? There's a disconnect there. And why is that a problem? Is that you don't show up fully. We don't, not just you personally, meaning we, and this happens a lot in work, especially with healing professionals. Many, don't speak. Well, when you don't speak your truth, you end up playing small. And when you're not sharing your truth, there's a part that's keeping the progress of your clients back, those who you could help. Hello there, Sam. Those who could be helped, could be in a personal situation, in a private situation with your family, with your loved ones, with your partner, with your children, with your elder parents. I have got a lot of experience with that these days. When you don't speak your truth, there, and during the pandemic, there's so many, excuse me, I'm just going to I forgot to bring my Water time. Sorry. I'm not sorry. That was like perfect, right? Uncertainty, cough. Well, went to get the glass, came back. But it's coming up so much. Do you notice during the pandemic, all new kinds of situations when we're communicating electronically and not face to face, and with text and texts, and then you speak on the phone, and then there's so many miscommunications, and then you wonder, should I, shouldn't I, and I don't know what's going to be, so I better play it right, and oh my goodness, and think back a few months back with the social unrest and all the divisiveness and political correctness, that you're not certain if you're going to say the wrong thing. There was, it reminds me of a Saturday Night Live vignette for those of you in the United States, but you could watch it. I watched it on YouTube, so you could be anywhere in the world, but it's just a really, really funny skit. They're in a restaurant, and they're every time they come there, it's about being uncertain about speaking and trying to speak with certainty during uncertainty. It's hilarious. Every time they go to say something and they're uncertain, they're like, there's the, and they, it's really, really funny. Really funny. And it's maybe, I'll look it up and post it in the group, because it really shows the absurdity and how much we don't connect when we don't share our truths, even when we're feeling really uncertain. And speaking about that Saturday Night Live, it reminds me of a client of mine from several years ago, Jana. And she's a powerful, powerful healing professional. When she came to work with me, she first came for a private immersion, and then she was in our Thrive Through Uncertainty course, and she was just so great with her with her surroundings, and people came to her for help. She was great with others. She was so powerful outside, but to herself, she was a doormat. And in her family, she'd been married a bazillion years. The kids were all leaving. She was wondering, should I stay married or not? And there was a lot of uncertainty going on in the home. Her father was in hospice, and instead of speaking up, she was so afraid of making waves and so uncertain about what was going on that she had a lot of anxiety around it. You would never see it on the outside. The woman was so composed, gorgeous, gorgeous woman. The anxiety would take her off track, and it was costing her. It was costing her in her profession, because she wanted to. She was then helping women in doula services, and women who were wanting to get pregnant and who were pregnant, and she was wanting to expand that and actually wanting to become a certified midwife. She didn't dare to, because so much was going on, and the cost is that there would be some kind of drama in her family, and she would come in to make the peace with everyone. She wasn't moving forward. She'd start and then stop, and start and then stop. And then she also wouldn't speak up, because she knew how to meditate it away. She'd be really, really quiet. But it was, she had the outer peace in her family, but there wasn't peace, and she was not peaceful. And the cost of that, can you relate to that? Let's see if anyone's, can you relate to that at all? You know, that peacemaker, you know, and with healers, oh my God, it's, you know, it's very prevalent. And, you know, so many times there's a core wound there, you know, from that wounded healer syndrome, that on the outside, you know, the healer is there for everybody else, but not for yourself. And it's unconscious. It's not on a conscious level, but it's really, really critical to address it, to be able to move on. Because here's one of the secrets is that, well, there's this dichotomy I see, that so with healers, we're there to help others, but then we're there to help others. First of all, there is this, is it possible to speak with certainty when you feel uncertain? Is that we have this idea, it's really a mistaken idea of healer to begin with, that we're there to help or fix someone else, that something's wrong. Okay, that already creates from the get-go uncertainty. There's no way for that to be bridged, because it's already coming from a mindset of lack, that something's wrong. Bullhooey. That's not true. Everything's already here. Everything is fine. And one of the secrets to be able to speak with certainty when you're feeling uncertain is to go beyond that dual state to there's something wrong. There's nothing wrong. But if you're just thinking about that in your mind, that's not going to help you. Because think about this. This is another thing I see so much with my clients over the years, both in large group settings down to, you know, individuals. So, you know how professional healers are, you know, in like massage school and in all different kinds of modalities. Healers are taught to speak, and the like nurses and psychologists and social workers, you know, we're taught to speak soft and soothingly to our clients, you know, to calm them, to generate a sense of calm and certainty. Only if inside we don't feel it, the client doesn't either. It's bullhooey. Using that word a lot. Because, why? Why do you think it is? See, you know, if you're watching afterwards, if you're watching this, and it's not live because I'm recording this live, I'm curious. Why do you think it is? Mark in the comments below. You know, we're taught to, how are you doing today? I'm from California. Boy, it's not just the healers. That's how we're taught to speak. But the thing is, the secret here is it's not how you're speaking. It's where you're speaking from. It's what's behind your voice and not what you say. That's the more important thing. And nobody ever speaks about that. You could have, case in point, here's on an opposite extreme. Ever been on a telephone with someone, never met them in your life? It could be in a, I had a situation like this the other day in a call center. I called customer service for something. And, you know, the person is on the phone with me. I hear that there's a person, but they are saying the right words, but they were not there. I could just feel that there was someone behind them with them that they were having a conversation with. It was not finished yet, and there was conflict. And I ended up hanging up the phone because I knew I wasn't going to get served. It was just a waste of my time. They were saying all the right things. And thank you, ma'am, and thank you so much for your understanding. And, you know, call centers are famous for that. Right? If you're uncertain or if you're disconnected from your voice, that's going to reflect in what comes out of your mouth so much more than what you say. Because what comes out of your mouth, this is true for singers too. What comes out of your mouth is a reflection. It's the after effect of how you have played your voice inside. And think about this. When, you know, can you speak with certainty when you're feeling uncertain? Well, it depends. What are you telling yourself inside? What's silently going on behind your cognitive mind, in the subconscious mind? There are so many voices in there, and it's what you're telling yourself silently inside that's impacting how certain or uncertain you come across. It's not how well you speak. If that were the case, go buy a book. Bye. We're done. Go watch a 2-minute YouTube video, what to say in this. It's like, there are tons of books that way for a bazillion years, for however long the book industry is there. If that were the case, you wouldn't be asking yourself. So what do you need to do? So, Eliana, okay, well, that sure keeps me in a lurch. What do I need to do so that I can speak with certainty when I feel uncertain? Well, one, you're not gonna uproot the unconscious all at once. You can meditate. That's one thing you could do. And listen. Go into your meditation with intention to listen. If you're the type of healer who's still believing the healer's there to fix someone else, it might be a difficult thing for you to do. Because this is looking at the underbelly, not the, like Jana's, meditating away. Meditate, sit quietly and listen. And if to whatever the situation is where you're uncertain and you are wanting and needing to speak with certainty. Second, reach out to a friend and affirm what you mean to communicate. And you can share in our group. That's what our Healing Voices, hello, that's what this group is here for. This is a place for professional healers to give and receive support. Don't be afraid. Your vulnerability is not your weakness. It's your power. And it's a sign of true leadership. I'm not talking about the spilling, your guts and trauma. No. You're a professional healer. You know how to deal with those things. But really being willing to, and those things come up as we're moving forward, the underbelly comes up. That's where we get, here's the third thing, is to feel the fear and do it anyway. Meet your fear and stop running. Stop fighting or flighting. Can you relate? Now I'm remembering Dolit, an Israeli client who's become a dear, dear friend. She first inquired about working together when she grew up on a kibbutz, and her mother's American, and father is Israeli, and she grew up on a kibbutz during the time in Israel where Hebrew was coming back. This was at the beginning of the modern state of Israel, and so everyone was encouraged just to speak in Hebrew and not to speak in their native tongue. People came from all over the world, and so Dorit, who speaks English fluently, her mother's American, but with such a heavy accent and with such shame around speaking in English or presenting in English. She was trained as a nurse. And she even she was in New York for a while and worked as a nurse there. And then came back to Israel and became a Theta healer trainer. For a Theta healer practitioner, and then trainer, and then trainer. She's brilliant. She's really, really powerful. I took courses from her and really enjoyed her teaching in Hebrew. And then, but her dream was to train trainers all around the globe and to travel around the globe. But this shame of English stopped her. She would feel like she knew her subject. She's really brilliant at it. No issue in Hebrew, but when it came to English, she would feel so uncertain. It's like the kibbutz police. It wasn't conscious. It's just how she was inculcated. But she felt so uncertain it would literally stop her voice. And her accent in English was so thick, kind of because of that also. She was afraid nobody would understand her either. And so she got up courage. At some point she she inquired, and then we didn't work together. She goes, okay, thank you. I gave her some tips. She goes, I'm fine. I can do it on my own. And that gave her the confidence. She went to a international conference, like a professionals conference in Japan. She's so excited. And she gets to Japan, and in one of the workshops or subjects, the person got sick or canceled out, and they asked Dorit if she would like to fill in, because she's a really, really good trainer, and it was in a particular area that not a lot of people had experience in. And so they offered the opportunity to Dorit, and she said no, because of her uncertainty. And because of the uncertainty, how are they going to respond? And she didn't have it all planned and put together. So she said no. And they offered it to this Argentinian woman who like barely spoke English, had a really heavy Spanish accent, a Hispanic accent, and she did it, and it was brilliant. It went over really, really well. And then she was offered an opportunity to go present somewhere. And at that point, that's when we started working together, because she came back to Israel with her tail between her legs, and she said, okay, at this point, I am willing to beat my biggest fear now. Not just uncertainty, I want to die. And at that point in Israel, she was just teaching, live, and she had one workshop a month. Within 2 weeks of our beginning to work together, her business tripled, 300%. Today, the woman, for the last 5 years, the woman has been training all over the world. In fact, she sold her home. No, it's maybe 4 years now. She sold this beautiful home that she had a healing center in it, and she was traveling so much. She goes, I don't need such a large place anymore. U.S., Brazil, Switzerland, all over the place. And she doesn't speak German, in Switzerland, or French, and she doesn't speak Portuguese. She has an organizer now, and she goes, and what does she train in? English to Portuguese speakers. It's like so funny. It's so beautiful. In fact, last year, was it about a year and a half ago, she came to California, and I got to see her in California. She was presenting and teaching trainers here. So amazing. And you go, okay, yeah, but what about the pandemic? The woman is teaching through Zoom now. So, from traumatized, not just uncertain, really traumatized, to really, she just is thriving in uncertainty. And you can also. So I'm wondering, what is your biggest takeaway from this session? I would love to know. And I would also really appreciate your feedback in terms of how are you liking this Wednesday? Oh wow, Mihalos, we've got Israel in the room. Fantastic. So glad that you're here. And Sam, yes, it's painful. It's like there's a pressure within. Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it? So what are you taking from today? How is this Wednesday? And I thought what came up as I was preparing for today was, now that we have Michal here and I've spoken about Dorit, about thriving through uncertainty, that I have some huge gifts that I received from living through 3 wars in the Middle East over the last 25 years, and I thought that would be a cool and helpful thing. Would you like that? I think that's the next step to share. Let me know, because this is our community. If there's something else that this triggers in you and you would like me to cover, please comment, because I really plan the content in our group according to the requests that I receive. So wishing you all well. Let me just see if there's any questions right now in live. All right. Well, I invite you to reach out, get support. Your voice is so, so important. And feel the fear, do it anyway. Speak it anyway. And get support. We're here for you. I'm here for you. If you have something in particular and it's too sensitive for the group, well, reach out to me. Send me a message. And I'm looking forward to hearing more in our group.